We in the media know the United States government has awarded Halliburton another $385 million to continue building the civilian inmate labor camps, otherwise known as the future homes for the majority of the population of the United States. And you wondered what they were going to do with all those closed military bases in America? We in the media know that anyone can't see the official government documents for these camps at the official website of the United States Army, but we're not going to tell that to the American people. We in the media just don't have enough balls or enough love for America and its freedoms to ask the questions that would inform the American people. The truth would cause the people to rise up against this global takeover by this shadow government. However, we in the media are simply yellow. We in the media believe it is better that hundreds of thousands of Americans and Muslims die. It's better that innocent Muslims are imprisoned and tortured. Spying on Americans, entering their homes without just cause and stripping them of their freedoms is just not enough wrongdoing for the whole of the mainstream media to do their jobs and bore in on the toughest of the tough questions. We in the mainstream media are too yellow to ask, why is there no airplane or any pieces of airplane at 2 of the September 11th airplane crash sites? Or, we in the media could ask, if the towers were not blown up with bombs, then why did virtually every reporter, fireman, policeman and citizen in and around the towers report multiple huge explosions while the towers were collapsing? Furthermore, why did the president place a gag order on those people who were describing those explosions? Or, we in the media could ask, why didn't you show the demolition of World Trade Center building number 7 over and over like you did the demolition of the towers? Or, we in the media could ask, why did the president do everything in his power to discourage an investigation of the worst crime in American history, then when faced with its inevitability sought to limit its scope, time and funding? Or, we in the media could ask, how can the White House justify a paltry $3 million to investigate the worst crime in American history when investigations such as President Clinton's sexual activities ate up $65 million? Or, why did it take the victims' families marching on the White House before you would okay an investigation? Or why isn't Mayor Rudolph Giuliani in prison for destroying all of the evidence before it could be examined for explosives? Or, why did you ignore the firefighters' request for a physical examination of the steel so they could determine just how fire could cause the controlled demolition effect it did in 3 steel-framed buildings, when it has never happened before or since September 11, 2001? Especially, since there have been buildings burned for days, where the fire was much hotter yet those steel-framed buildings didn't shred themselves and shoot steel beams weighing tons 600 feet horizontally and stick themselves into buildings like arrows sticking out of a target. Or, if there were no bombs in the buildings, then how do you explain the pyroclastic flows that we saw chasing people all over Manhattan? Or, is it just a coincidence that the president's little brother Marvin Bush was in charge of security at the World Trade Center? Or, why was the person who funded the terrorists meeting with the heads of our intelligence people 2 days after the attack? Or, why did Jeb Bush, the governor of Florida, instate martial law in Florida on September 7th then announce it on September 11th? Or, why did the president lie to the American people when he said he mourned the deaths of 130 Israeli nationals at the World Trade Center when not one Israeli national died there? Or, is it just another coincidence that an Israeli-owned company moved out of the World Trade Center 1 week before the attacks? Or, if Muslims were behind the attacks like the official story claims, how do you explain the text messages received by the employees of the Israeli company Adiga warning them to get out of or not go into the buildings hours before the attacks? Surely you don't think anyone is stupid enough to believe that Arab Muslims would warn Israelis, do you? Or, you could remind them that not one Israeli national died at the World Trade Center despite 4,000 calls to the Israeli embassy in America from worried families in Israel. The most dangerous people in our country are the ones in control of the most powerful weapon mankind has ever developed. They have turned this weapon against the American people in a time-tested, selfishly crafted way. A weapon that makes our most powerful nuclear bomb look like a firecracker. Wars are no longer won with guns and bombs. Wars are won by persuading the majority of the people to believe in their visions. Whether those visions are divine or evil matters not, because, when you control the ultimate weapon, evil is easily spun into gold, fascism is easily spun into freedom, and heavenly can be milked from satanic with very little effort. Hell, you can even make millions of people believe that Muslims would hijack airplanes and fly them into buildings, because they hate the fact that America is free. It's time to wake up, America.
You know, we are the people and we are sovereign. We are the patriots, and the whole world is with us. Everywhere in the country that they have a free press, all over the world, people know the facts, and they are with us, not the people out there, not the deadheads, not the know-nothings, not the chicken hawks. They're with us. Don't let anybody intimidate you into silence. It's time for all of us to speak truth to power. Our sons and daughters are being killed. They're being maimed by the tens of thousands. They're being poisoned by depleted uranium by the hundreds of thousands. Their children are being born with birth defects, horrible birth defects at an alarming rate. We're being lied to about all of that as well. Our sons and daughters in uniform are being dehumanized, emotionally damaged, psychologically destroyed. They're being made not just to kill, but to hate. Those who return are prone to domestic violence, divorce, and suicide. The lies, the killing, and the destruction of our young sons and daughters must not continue. We must end it. Patriotism demands that we speak truth to power and that we support what's left of our troops by bringing them home now. Together we can do it. We can get the truth out there to the American people. We're on the verge. We've got half the people with us. We've got to go after the other half. And together, we can take back our country and get the liars the heck out of there. God bless America, and God grant us regime change in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much.
I will close with the observation that insofar as Americans participate in this anti-imperial movement, their activities will be deeply patriotic because they will be seeking to call our nation back to its moral ideals.
One day my friend Nick was in his yard, raking leaves. While he was raking the leaves, he saw a little earthworm all shriveled up and near death. He decided he wanted to help the little earthworm, so he picked it up and took it inside. He gave it food and water and love and nurtured it back to health. He had turned this sickly little shriveled up earthworm into a healthy, robust earthworm. This made Nick feel real good inside. He felt like he had really accomplished something on this day. He felt so good, he took the earthworm, he shaved it, he put it on a hook and went fishing. He fished for hours and hours, but he caught nothing. Then Nick exploded.
Glory hole, glory hole, glory hole. Woohoo! Woohoo! The glory hole, glory hole, glory hole. Woohoo! People think guys, we're all frightened and horny, but we can't let some killer dolphins keep us from living and scoring.
Tonight on Smartline, the power plant strike. Argle bargle or foofara?
What? Again? This stupid country. Glory hole, glory hole, glory hole. People, please, we're all frightened and horny, but we can't let some killer dolphins keep us from living and scoring.
Killer dolphins, killer Italian, brave, bottle-nosed, intelligent Italian.
Oh boy, that sounded bad.